Das ist ein Äpfel. Der Äpfel ist hier. Das ist ein Handy. Das Handy ist schön oder das Handy ist nett. Have you been seeing all these EIN, EINE, EINE? And ask yourself, what are all these? Kein Problem. In this video, I'm going to explain in details all these EIN, EINE articles. They are indefinite articles, Unbestimmte articles, okay? Now that you have learned all about the definite articles, which are der for masculine, die for feminine, and das for neuter, now we are going to learn the indefinite ones. So they are also three. The same way indefinite, they are three. Here they are also three, both for masculine, for feminine, and for neuter. Let's begin with the masculine ones. Definite, they take a der, but indefinite, they take ein, ein, okay? Masculine, der, indefinite, ein. Feminine, definite, it is die. And now indefinite, it is eine, eine, okay? Again, feminine, definite, they are D, they take a D, and in indefinite, they take an EINE, EINE, okay? The plural, they take a D, plural, they take a D, okay? Indefinite articles, but now plural in indefinite articles, they are not here, okay? It is a zero, nothing. You are just supposed to leave it blank like that, okay? And neuter, definite, they take a das, but indefinite, they take ein. So you'll find that the masculine and the neuter, they are the same, okay? They both take ein. Get the difference here. Masculine and neutral, both take ein as their indefinite articles. Plural, it is not there, doesn't exist, okay? Feminine, they take ein. You add this e at the end, okay? Eine. Before we proceed, let me remind you a little bit about English articles. In English, there are three articles. Actually, there are four. The first one is the, then a, then an, and some. For example, some flowers, some trees. Okay, there are four. The, a, an, und some. Okay. This is now in English, but in German, it is divided into other. For example, this the in English, it is divided further into three other articles, which is a der, die, das in definite articles. Then in English, a and an, they are further divided into German indefinite articles. They both mean the same thing, but now we use gender to differentiate them, okay? So you'll find that this a and an in English, in German, it is ein for masculine, eine for feminine, ein for masculine, and zero in plural, okay? This brings us to a very important question. When are we not, underline the word not, when are we not supposed to use indefinite articles? These are null article, no any article, nationality, profession, food. They don't take an articles, okay? For example, let's explain using profession. Maybe you are a female teacher in German. You are supposed to say, Ich bin Lehrerin. I am a teacher. But you are not supposed to use an article and say, Ich bin ein oder eine Lehrerin. No, you don't use here an article. You just say ich bin Lehrerin, but not ich bin eine Lehrerin. No, don't use articles on professions, okay? Don't use articles on nationality. For example, you want to say you are Americana, okay? Just say ich bin Americana. Ich bin Americana. But don't add an article, may it be a definite or indefinite, and say ich bin eine Americana. No, that is wrong. Just say ich bin Americana. The same way to food, occupation, okay? Now, this brings us to a very important question. When do we use indefinite articles? When do we use indefinite articles? It is used when we are mentioning a noun for the very first time. Okay? Maybe we just say, this is a book. We will say, das ist ein Buch. Das ist ein Buch. We are just introducing the noun book here for the very first time. The same way in English, this is a book. When we are using a, or this is a book or a book, when you are using that indefinite article in English, it is used for the first mentioning, okay? Then when we want to add more and more information, now that's when we can go for a definite article, which is now they in English, and which is now either die, das, or der in German. Next example, we can say, das ist ein Handy. Das ist ein Handy. We are just introducing handy, the noun handy, which means phone, for the first time. Now we want to give more information, we want to talk about it more, and we want to mention it now for the second time. That's when we will go for a definite articles. And now here we will have to ask ourselves, handy, is it a masculine, feminine, or the neutral? And we will say it is a neutral noun. So if it is a neutral noun, we will say das, okay? Das Handy ist schön. We have introduced it for the first time using ein, which is an indefinite article. Now we want to give more information. We want to mention it for the second time. We will now go for indefinite articles, okay? Das, we will say das Handy ist schön, oder das Handy ist nett. Next example, let's use a sofa, okay? We will say das ist ein Sofa. Das ist ein Sofa. Okay? Or we can say das Sofa ist nicht schön. Das Sofa ist nicht schön. Okay? We are introducing for the first time, and we are supposed to use indefinite article ein, which is a neuter. Its gender is neuter. That's why we are using ein, and we are using it for the first time. But now when we want to give more information about this sofa, we'll now go for the definite articles. In definite article from neuter, here we will use das, okay? Now we will say das Sofa ist nicht schön. Das Sofa ist nicht schön. We are giving more information about this sofa. Das now das for definite article, and we are giving more information on the already mentioned noun, which is sofa. Now let's proceed to their masculine articles. For example, the question can be, was ist das? Was ist das? What is that? Or what is this? Okay? Was ist das? What is this? Then you say, das ist ein Schlüssel. Das ist ein Schlüssel. That is a key. That is a key. We are mentioning a key for the very first time. Now we want to give more information on this key. We will say, der Schlüssel ist neuer. Der Schlüssel ist neuer. The key is new. Okay? Next, was ist das? Was ist das? And then we respond, das ist ein Mann. Das ist ein Mann. This is a man. Okay. First mentioning, we use ein. Then when we want to mention for the second time and give more information, we will say, der Mann ist hier. Der Mann ist hier. The man is here. Okay. Now let's proceed to feminine. Okay. Feminine. Was ist das? Das ist ein Tasche. Das ist ein Tasche. That is a bag. We want to give more information. Die Tasche ist schön. Die Tasche ist schön. Okay? We are giving the more information. Was ist das? Was ist das? Das ist eine Uhr. Das ist eine Uhr. Okay? Das ist eine Uhr. This is a clock. Die Uhr ist neu. Die Uhr ist neu. Okay? Was ist das? Das ist eine Flasche. Das ist eine Flasche. Die Flasche ist blau. Die Flasche ist blau. The bottle is blue. Now let's proceed to plural. Remember, we have said plural, they don't take any indefinite articles, okay? They don't take any indefinite articles. Just like in English, you can't say this. You can't say this is an books. No, that is not correct. The same way in English, you can't say das ist eine Bücher. No, that is incorrect. Okay, because it is plural. Plural, no definite articles. Wunderbar. Thank you guys for watching this video up to this point. I really appreciate. Please like, comment and subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell so that if I upload a new video, you'll get notified fast. Otherwise, it's a bye for now and choose auf Wiedersehen.